Welcome back, everyone, for a new episode of the Wednesday Watch List. This is my weekly look ahead to the comic books coming out this new comic book Wednesday, March 6th, 2024. Now, things might look a little bit different because I decided to kind of change things up. It's been a while that I've been doing these, and I didn't like the layouts anymore because they just kind of look too similar to Hidden Gems when I did a Hidden Gems last week. So I said, you know what? Let me try something different. So I went with a different background and set up an intro. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you like the new intro and the new backgrounds, or if I should go back to the old way, let me know what you guys think. I'm just trying something different this week, and hopefully you like it. And hopefully you're enjoying everything here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. Make sure that you also go and check out my buddy Bruce's channel once you're done watching this, because he is celebrating his 1,000 subscriber milestone. And I will be hopping on over there tonight for a little bit as well. So make sure you come and join us. And with that all said, if you want to see my look ahead for this week's new books, just hang out for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so like I said, let's get right into the Wednesday watch list. As normal, we will start off with this week's, I told you I'm not going to be doing buzz books anymore. So one last time, just as a reminder, we're no longer calling these the buzz books. These are just going to be a little more broadly general in things that I'm looking forward to and I think that you should be aware of, and just go with, very simply, Pete's picks, because Pete is me, and these are the picks that I think you should be paying attention to when you go to your shop this week. Now, obviously, this isn't news to most of you at this point. I mean, a lot of people have been excited for everything the Ultimate Universe has to offer. So just be aware when you go in on Wednesday that Ultimate X-Men #1 is dropping. And this is a book that most people will probably be gravitating towards. Now, this is going to be done by Peach Momoko, who does have her fans and some detractors. But I'm willing to give this a chance. I'm looking forward to this. Don't get too caught up in the FOMO on this one, because please understand, Ultimate Spider-Man kind of came out of nowhere. Ultimate Black Panther kind of followed suit a little bit, but FOC for this particular book here, for Ultimate X-Men, was still open after both of those books hit. So I imagine a lot of shops were able to order more. So I expect there to be plenty of copies available once you go in your shops this week. Because if you look already, there's a little bit of fervor and a little bit of pre-sale, sales going on here, where it's, yes, $5. So there are plenty of cover price sales as well, but then there are the outliers at like $20. Just don't get caught up in the FOMO, especially on this one, because again, FOC allowed most people to catch up on their orders and not be taken surprised by this one. So just be wary of spending too much money on this particular book this week. As just my fair warning, I don't know for certain. It may be hard to find, who knows? But I just feel like, considering what we saw and the availability and the ability to actually place more orders while the other books were getting hot, probably means this one won't be a surprise and won't be an instant sell. And you probably will be able to find a copy or two once you go to your shop, unless the crazy speculators go nuts and buy up every copy off the shelves before anybody else has a chance to, just because they want to try to flip them for their little $10. Wednesday worrying, I'll pay $5 and I'll get 10. They could try, but I got to imagine again that there's going to be plenty of volume out there, and they may end up getting stuck with some of these in hand. So just be careful. As you can see, there are still some asking prices on pre-sales, even with some actually in people's hands already, looking for $10, $13, up to $20. I don't feel like this is going to be $20 by the time we get to the end of the week. I feel like this might be maybe 10. This might be 10, but that's just my guess. Again, just based off of the history of things that I've seen, that's my gut feeling on this one. That said, multiple covers on this as well. This is the cover A, which again is the book that everybody wanted for Black Panther and Ultimate Spider-Man for one reason or another. But also remember, a couple other covers potentially could, take a shine with collectors. So keep an eye on what else is out there as well when you're taking a look at the shelf, because we do have some decent ones. I do like the I think it's Betsy Cola in the middle. I like that one. The Ruan one on the right there, and then another peach option as well. There is a 1 in 10 design variant, as well as Mark Brooks is not bad, and Hyuk Lee is not bad. So there are a lot of decent options for this book if you're interested. And on top of that, there are incentives as well, some of which are virgin versions of these other available covers. But there is a 1 in 25 and two, count them, two 1 in 100s. So with that said, neither 1 in 100 is doing much right now. They're both right around that ratio mark, 80, 90 bucks, $100, maybe a touch over, but really in that ratio kind of range is where they all are kind of selling and where the asking prices are. So if you're interested, you can probably get one or the other or both if you really want to. It's still a pricey book because it is a 1 in 100, but there are copies out there for you if you're so inclined. I do like the 1 in 25 here. Personally, I just like it. I like the design. I kind of dig it. And this one is doing a little okay here at the start. You can see here some early pre-sales on the 1 in 25 are at around 40, yes, 20, 25, which is around ratio, but one did hit 40, and that was the most recent sale. And some of the asking prices are in the 38, 40, 37, $45 kind of range. Does that mean that's where it's going to end? Not necessarily, but that's where it is right now. People are looking for that 40 bucks on this 1 in 25 right now. We'll see as supply and demand where that kind of lands as Wednesday hits and then further into the weekend, into Friday. So we'll see. We'll see. But it's definitely worth keeping an eye on, which is why it's on the watch list, because I want to see what happens with this book. We can look at pre-sales all we want, but pre-sales are not always a strong indicator of how a book's actually going to perform when it's in people's hands. Sometimes, yes, but not always. It depends. Again, supply and demand. So keep that in mind. The other book, on apart from Ultimate X-Men, I think you should probably keep an eye out for this week is another book that I know it's not very original, but I think people are still excited because we're going to get new Wolverine characters, including this female version of Wolverine. So I know it's been talked up already for the past couple of months. So again, shouldn't take anyone by surprise, but still be mindful of it when you go into your shop this week. That Weapon X-Men #1 is coming out, and it will feature at least one new Wolverine version because it's another multiverse type of tale, I guess. We got all the different Spider-Man. We got Batman doing the same thing now over on the DC side of things. And why not let us have a whole bunch of different Wolverines? A few different covers on this one, not a ton. So we have the cover A, which is kind of cool. I like the layered, kind of look. It goes with the claws, the slash, etc. There is an action figure variant that features the Goblin Queen, as well as a John Boy Myers spotlighting that Age of Apocalypse version of Wolverine where, he's missing a hand, so he's got that stump. With that, the 1 in 100 is a virgin version of that John Boy, and there is a 1 in 25 as well that features a few of the different Wolverines we can expect them to spotlight here as part of this multiversal Wolverine character. Again, the female version, I don't remember what her name is because I haven't read this yet, and I don't remember from the previews what she's called. And you got Old Man Logan, and then you got looks like a zombie Logan, as well as the Age of Apocalypse. And I'm not sure I'm with stupid. I don't know if that's like a what if or a what the version. I don't know. I can't remember, but multiple versions of Wolverine is the point. The 1 in 100 is something to keep an eye on. I know it's a super high ratio incentive. It's not in everybody's not in all their range of what they're going to spend. Like, I don't buy these. It's outside of what I normally like to spend. So out of my budget. So I get it. But at the same time, doesn't mean we shouldn't watch and pay attention to what it's doing, because this could still be an indicator of how the rest of the books get received. With that said, the 1 in 100 pre-sales, yeah, right around like not ratio, but above, like 140, 140, 150. So not bad. A little bit above ratio to start. The asking prices are even higher, looking for 200 and 225. Don't know how many they're going to be, but it is something, again, to keep an eye on for this week. Now, I'm going to get both of these books just to read as well, because I do want to read them. I am looking forward to them as reads because I'm curious for both. I don't have a strong, confidence that they're going to be great or anything like that. X-Men has let me down over the last few years and many years before that. But I am still a diehard X-Men fan and will be giving this a chance. So I will give both of these a chance and see how they do. But with that, there's a couple other books too that will be right at that top of the pile for my reading list that I'm looking forward to this week. Starting off with Batman, We just finished up that Joker Year One storyline, so now we're going to kind of pick up with Batman kind of facing off against the Batman of Zoranara. So he's kind of himself. It's weird. I know, I get it, but I'm still kind of curious of where they're going to go with this. With that, part one starting of Dark Prisons, cover A. There is a other covers here as well, including don't want to say blank. It is a blank sketch, but it is a black cover blank sketch. So I guess you could still get it remarked in like silver or something like that. But only a couple of incentives. The incentives are back. They got rid of them for the Joker series for one reason or another. But the 1 in 25s and the 1 in 50 are back on our regular Batman title here. And I know on SNS, the boys didn't like the 1 in 50, but I think it's kind of a cool look. As I said, it reminds me of like the skateboard style, something I would see on like a skateboard deck. I think somebody in the chat on Saturday mentioned Ratfink. And yeah, it's like a Ratfink Batman. I don't know. It's different. It's not selling for anything like above ratio, mostly under ratio. So if you're interested, you could probably get it for a good deal. I'm just saying it is different. So I don't know, kind of cool. But the whole idea with Batman of Zoranar is kind of different too. So it's not out of pocket for them to go with a weird cover like this for at least this week. The other title that I'm looking forward to kind of catching up on and continuing to read is Void Rivals. Loving the Energon universe, as I've said before. I mean, Transformers, G.I. Joe, that is my wheelhouse. And these characters are being included in this new universe. So I do want to keep up with them as well. So Void Rivals, number 7 is coming out. Cover A. There is a cover B as well. So these are open order, easy to find. And then there are a couple of incentive ratios if you're interested, including a 1 in 10, a 1 in 25, and a 1 in 50. Now, once again, these aren't where they were when this is a brand new series, and then we got shocks and spoilers and surprise, covers and reveals, etc., of all these different Transformers related characters. This is just kind of focusing in now on these Void Rival characters. So it seems, at least as far as the market goes, that they've kind of eased up on this because you can get these variants again for ratio or less. So the fervor isn't there as strong as it was, but I still want to read it. Like, it's not all about just the market throwing extra money at books. I want to read this because I'm interested. But just keep that in mind if you are interested in getting these variants, that they're probably more affordable right now. And if this were to heat up again down the line, who knows where those books might go. But with that said, there are a few other things I want to read and check out because we have a lot of new number ones for this week. Not going to cover every single new number one because that would be ludicrous. We'd be here all day. But the ones that kind of stood out for me are the ones that we are going to talk about now. So, starting off with DC, we are getting a Batman The First Night. I'll be honest, I wasn't aware of this one coming out so soon, so I didn't do a lot of reading up on it, but it looks like a classic Batman, maybe back there in like the Johnny Dangerously times of the OG, 30s and etc. Times for Batman, because that's what the costume's kind of looking like to me. Black label, so it's going to be on those huge, oversized, magazine-sized prestige formats. I think they're like $9 or $10 even. So it's going to be a little pricier. There is a couple of variants for it. I kind of like that one in the middle. It looks kind of cool to me. And then there's also a 1 in 25. And then also the one on the left, guys, has like a pulp kind of vibe, which is also kind of cool. But I don't know. It doesn't play as well when it's oversized. So just doing like the pulp cover, pulps were small. So comics, okay, it's still kind of fun to do them on a comic size thing. But when they're oversized like this, it loses a little bit of that character to me. I don't know. This is a personal thing. I don't the pulp style on the magazines don't play as well for me. Like I said, I don't know. Just one of those things. I know I'm weird. But with that said, let's move on. Now, I don't normally do this, but I felt like I needed to do it for this book. Now, Golgotha, Motor Mountain. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right at all. From IDW. This is an original series. 2 covers. We have cover A and a cover B that looks like something out of a manga anime kind of a angle here. Pretty cool though. I like them. I like both covers here. And I'm curious about this one because you read this write-up and it's just sounds wild. Like, I don't know. I don't know where we're gonna go or what we're gonna get with this, but again, I'm going to put it some of the synopsis that I got out there, but it looks like we're getting a high octane motor massacre. There's interstellar rock rains, and there's meth labs, and they're talking about Kentucky, and there's redneck body horror nightmare stuff. So I have no idea what this is. It's like a Borderlands, Twisted Metal, crazed, whatever. I don't know, but there's talking about mutations, and there's these brothers, and I'm curious. That's all I'm going to say. With all this, you could read up on it on your own. I'm just kind of curious because this just seems weird enough to be interesting. Maybe it's too weird, and maybe when I do read it, it's like, oh, this is just feels like a knockoff of Borderlands and or Twisted Metal and that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot. Now, we are also getting The Last Ronin 2. So you remember how popular that Last Ronin was initially. The Lost Years, and I think the other subsequent things that came out after that haven't hit as strongly for the Turtles, but I feel like people might be getting more hype for this one. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Turtle fan. I like the Turtles. They were more my little brother's thing, but I'm curious. But I could have waited. I'm not like chomping at the bit for this one. So it's in the new number one pile for a reason. Multiple covers here. Cover A. I'm not going to list what they are because I'm not sure which ones are B's and C's, etc. Because there are a lot. But we do have other variant covers as well, including um, the Day of the Dead, and we got like a video game style one where it's like a character select screen. There is also a 1 in 25, as well as an Eastman. I think the Eastman is technically the B cover, but I put it in here later because the Eastman is also going to be used for the incentives. So yes, there is a 1 in 25 right there. But for the there's a 1 in 50, there's a 1 in 75, as well as a 1 in 100, which, like I said, is the black and white version of that Eastman cover. And the 1 in 75 is a black and white of the cover A. Yeah, as I said, going to be lots of store exclusives on this one. Maybe not as many as the first one, but still probably a decent amount of store exclusives. So there'll probably be a decent amount of copies for these variants. Right now, again, they're not really doing too much on the aftermarket, or I shouldn't say pre-sale market, because again, it's not out yet. So we should call it the pre-sale market. Not a lot of pre-sales to really gauge anything yet. So we'll see what happens come Wednesday. But the other thing to be aware of is some shops. I don't think there's going to be many. I was trying to dig for details. I'm not a retailer, so I don't know how exactly you get this one. But apparently, there will be at least a one per store signed version of that Eastman cover given to shops. Now, I don't know if that means, I don't think it means that every shop is getting one, but I think shops can only get one if they can qualify. I feel like it might be something similar to what Todd did with that Spawn 350. Like maybe there was an order minimum, and for those larger order shops that ordered multiple copies or a certain level of copies of this book, they will get one signed as kind of a retailer thank you. Not entirely sure. I've looked eBay, nothing yet for this book, but if you go to some actual online stores and stores that have an online presence, you will see like I don't know sure if it's Jetpack or one of those shops that has a web store. They actually are taking offers on their copy of the signed one, and I think their offer is already up to $375 for one of these. So don't know. Don't know how hard this will be to find. Don't know exactly what shops needed to do to get it. Again, I'm filming this Sunday afternoon, so more details might come out by the time we get closer to Wednesday. I'm just saying this is something on my radar to find out more about as the week goes on, and I'm just trying to give you all a heads up as well. Once again, I don't know what this will mean for the the long-term investability of something like investment, like, of the book like this, because this is a very niche, like, kind of thing. Just like the Spawn Todd things. Like, yes, Spawn has some very diehard fans, and yeah, they'll pay a lot of money for some of that stuff. But outside of that, I don't know. I don't know. But see what happens with this turtle book as well. I also don't know if there's going to be anything else different about this version of the book, because it looks like it's just the B cover that's signed. So I don't know if it's going to be annotated in some way differently. There'll be a COA or what. Again, giving you what I know. I'm feeling like this was kind of like a last minute pivot to kind of mirror or mimic what Todd was doing, because this book got pushed. Like this was supposed to come out, I believe, a couple of months ago, but it got pushed back. So I think as part of a hey, thanks for waiting kind of thing, they might have decided to pivot and do this. Just a gut feeling, but who knows? With that, let's move on to the next new number one. Our next book is The Night People from Oni. So, Oni Press, I know them most for doing the Rick and Morty comics, but they do their own things too. And I don't know. This has a few covers here. They're kind of interesting, kind of curious. So, The Night People looks like some sort of horror love story that we're going to be getting. Multiple covers, as I said here, A, B, C, D, as well as a 1 in 20 and a 1 in 30. You can look, Oni Press doesn't have the biggest fan base in the sense that 1 in 20s, 1 in 30s, you're not going to see a lot of them. So, no pre sales as of yet, none listed as of yet. Some will probably pop up and come to market. Be very, very curious of what they'll sell for. But as of right now, can't say much as far as pre-sales go because I haven't seen any yet. But these will probably be tough to find, and depending on how good this story is, it could be interest down the line. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Once again, once Wednesday hits, once these books actually hit shelves, I'm just looking at pre-sale stuff and looking at the things that are coming out. So it's all a guess at this point. And with that, got another weird book coming out, Monster Tag Team. American mythology. They also do weird homages, so we do have an homage cover mixed in here as well. We were also talking about this one on SNS on Saturday, and someone in the chat did point out that this homage there on the right is actually Werewolf by Night 33. Not the first appearance of Moon Knight, but the second. So the second issue following that. It is a pretty good one-for-one match of that cover, so kind of cool. All right. Horror fans, I talked a lot of horror books here. For some reason, a lot of horror books coming out right now in the month of March, start of March. But The Fog, we're getting a 4-issue miniseries based off of that, yeah, classic movie, I guess, The Fog. So Sumerians giving us multiple covers here as well. Cover A, B, C, and a D. If you're interested in any of these, if you know the story, etc. Maybe you want these 4-issue mini to go with you. But there is also a 1 in 25 coming out as well. So keep an eye on this. Much like those Oni books for the Night People, no pre-sales yet, none listed or available. So who knows what this might call for once copies hit the market, because it is just one of those oddball things. So don't know how many shops can be ordering 25 copies of this books to begin with. So may not be the easiest thing to find, so it may not be the easiest thing for us to price. But thought it was interesting enough to mention. All right, Marvel. Got a few Marvel number ones coming out as well. Starting off with a What If Aliens book. So this is based off of Paul Reiser's character, Carter Burke, who died, spoiler alert, in the second movie, Aliens. So this is telling the story of what he had lived. What if he lived? Because as you know, he was the bad guy of sorts of that movie. I don't want to say episode. He was the bad guy for the most part. Not like the big bad, but he was one of the bad guys. And he was trying to do some underhanded things and willing to sacrifice, Ripley and little Newt there just to get an alien back. So this is telling the story of what if he made it, and he wasn't eaten by an alien. So curious what the story might be here. Multiple covers here. This is the cover A. There's some cool other covers here as well. My name's Burke, and he's inside the this cryo little tube there. There's a Peach Momoko that's kind of cool. Again, Peaches does do some good covers. She has a lot of detractors. People talk bad about her, and I get it. Some covers are not great. She can be hit and miss, but this alien's not bad. This alien's not bad, in my opinion. Scotty Young's got a cover, obviously, and that Granoff is pretty nice there as well. And that Granoff is also one of the virgin ratios. Marvel's favorite thing to do. Thankfully, not everything is a 1 in 100 now. Marvel's kind of pulling it back a little bit. So it's a 1 in 50. A little more palatable for me. 1 in 100s get tired. I mean, we did have one for the Wolverine book, and we do have more coming, but please, more 1 in 50s, less 1 in 100s. Let's just dial it back a little bit. It'll have more people be able to get these books, make them more affordable. But with that, there's a 1 in 25. The 1 in 50, though, like I said, gorgeous Granoff, quintessential alien, looks really cool, is already doing okay on the pre-sale market, selling for about ratio. There have been some sales above it, $60, $80 for the 1 in 50. And right now, the asking prices aren't much higher than that 1 in 50 ratio. We're looking around $60, $60 plus. I don't know. Let's see where this one goes. See how well this story takes off, because this is a one shot. This is like a what if story. So it's not a continuing series. So that also kind of puts a ceiling, I think, on what people might be willing to shell out. But who knows? Sometimes that also makes it more collectible to others because it's not part of a regular series and the numbers might be lesser than a new ongoing number one. Who knows? Who knows where this will end up? But we also are getting another giant size book. Last week we got the giant size Fantastic Four, and yes, that 1 in 50 did all right. Starting out of the gate, it almost made the list, but didn't quite get there. Let's see what happens this week with giant size Spider Gwen. In that we have a cover A, there's a B and a C, I guess, here as well, and there is also a 1 in 25 incentive variant. So they dialed it back 1 in 25 for a book that's probably going to be more popular as far as sales go because it's Spider Gwen. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Pretty cool Betsy Cola cover. I think it's Betsy Cola who did this one. But it's another one to keep an eye on as early returns seem good for this book. Copy selling for 30, 45 bucks. Asking prices 42, 45, $175. All right. So the 175 is definitely crazy fishing price there. But the 40s, that seems like what we've seen a lot lately. So that seems like a decent bait, and we'll see how the market reacts to that price. Will they meet it, or will they want to get it down a little bit lower? They only want to do more like 35, 40. Who knows? But this is one to keep an eye on. As is Ms. Marvel Mutant Menace #1. We all know she's a mutant now. Multiple covers, obviously, going to be on this one as well. There is a Villalobos. There's also a Peach Momoko. Again, Peach has got a couple of good covers this week. And there is a Derek Chu as well. The Chu and the Lobos, I mean, they must have been thinking of like the same pose. I don't know. But both of those are also going to be the incentive variants for this book as well. So yes, there's a 1 in 25, but the 1 in 100 is based off of the Villalobos, and the 1 in 50 is based off of the Derek Chu. Now, we've seen some of these Derek Chu 1 in 50s do quite well lately, and this one is starting off in that kind of realm as well, in the sense of what people are asking. None have sold yet, so we don't know what the market's willing to bear. But asking prices are looking for $90 to $120 for this 1 in 50. Same story here with the 1 in 100, the Villalobos Virgin. It's a nice cover. I like it, but none sold yet. Asking prices, however, 140. It's not too much over the 1 in 100 ratio, but then we've got 200 and 230. So, once again, we'll see what happens as the week goes on. Not done yet. Marvel is also giving us the Sensational Spider-Men. So this is going to be the Peter Parker Miles team-up book that they've been talking about for a while now. It's finally hitting. Multiple covers here as well, as you might guess, and there's probably plenty of store exclusives as well. So keep an eye on that when you're thinking about any of these ratios. But blank cover, foil cover, other open order variants here as well that you can get, including that Peter Parker, Frank Miller homage to Wolverine #1, you know, the claws and the come here. That is not the only, and Todd Nock does give credit to After Miller, so I do like it when the artist does give credit right there on the cover, and he pulls double duty on this one in that one of the incentives is also the same book reversed, and it's Miles. So he's the 1 in 50, he's the Miles. 1 in 100 is a version of that cover A. And then there's a David Nakayama 1 in 25, which is kind of cool. Very bright. I kind of dig it, but none of these are selling for above ratio. So if you are interested in them, you can get them well under, actually. I mean, the 1 in 50 I've seen like listed for like 35 and et cetera. The 1 in 100 also, again, not close to $100. I mean, there are $100 asks, but none of these are doing too much on pre-sale so far. So we'll see where that ends up. Now, moving on, later prints. We don't have a lot of later prints, but we do have a few that we can talk about here. So these are going to start with the facsimile reprint, where we're going to get a Detective Comics 411. Yeah, so we're getting facsimile here of Detective 411 featuring Batgirl. There's going to be a sketch cover as well as a foil version, which is another couple of bucks. So the regular facsimile is $4, the foil version $6, and if you want that sketch cover, it's $5. Speaking of foils, remember that Batman foil with the Joker cover? The second print for Batman 142 is a reversed image, so almost like a mirrored Joker image, not foil, just a black background, but still pretty striking and pretty, right there in your face. If you're curious and you want to grab this second print, we're also getting a second print for Power Rangers: The Return. It's a design cover, so this is the one that's written by the Pink Power Ranger. Did all right, I think, at the start, but here we go with the second print for that. So if you missed out and you just want to read it, here's your opportunity with this design cover. And another thing that's been announced for a while now, and we should not be surprised that we are getting a third printing for Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Nothing wrong with getting a third printing. I mean, I'm sure the market's probably been met with people who wanted to read it. They've gotten their copies by now. But here we go with a third print. My problem with it isn't this so much as, yep, they're doing the incentive thing here. I hate incentivizing second prints, third prints, fourth prints, whatever. Later printings to me should be copies for people to get to read. I get that they're collectible and I get that people are going to collect them anyway. So, go ahead. Light me up in the comments. It's just the idea of incentivizing these with incentive variants. It just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. It's like you're already got a lot of people, because the people who are buying the third prints aren't people who missed out or are coming late to the story. That's, again, what I see later printings for. Oh man, I didn't get on this book right at the outset, so that first print's out of my price range. Let me just get what printing I can get so I can read this story and catch up with everybody else. That's not what they're doing. They're getting people to buy, rebuy, and then buy again, and also pay premiums for these incentives. Don't like that. That said, people keep doing it, so they're going to keep doing it. 1 in 25, $80, $60, $75 are some early pre-sales on this one. Asking prices in that $75 to $80 range. So again, this isn't new. I mean, we just had that Wolverine last week, did similar things with the pricing. Will these hold? I don't know. I'll be curious to see long term how these incentive second prints go. I just personally don't feel comfortable in investing in them, and I don't like them from the outset anyway. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Now, no more sweater weathers, no more Marvel 97s, and it's for March now, so Black History Month is also complete. So we don't have any variants there, but we are getting some new variant covers. So let's run through some of these that I find kind of interesting. Starting off with the Marvel headshots. I know what you're going to say. These suck. And over the years, a lot of them have. I mean, because we had, I don't know, they just weren't great. They're just kind of boring with a couple of different, the times they've given us the headshot covers. But I will argue that these Brooks ones aren't half bad. I don't know. So here we're going to start off with the Avengers. Number 11, Black Knight. So you get a headshot of the Black Knight. But obviously they can't leave well enough alone. So each and every one of these headshots is also coming with a 1 in 50 sketch version. So yeah, there'll be a black and white sketch. Again, it's a decent look. I mean, it is what it is. It just seems very, very empty because it's just the head. And now it's just a head sketch. But 1 in 50. None of these are doing anything as far as pre-sales go, like above ratio. So we're just going to run through them to show you what they are. Who knows what may hit and what may not hit. I think it'll be more to do with what happens in the stories inside the guts of these books. If there's some sort of big event that kind of snuck past the goalie or a first appearance or something like that, maybe. But other than that, we'll just go through it. Captain America's got one coming as well on Captain America 7, 1 in 50 sketch. She-Hulk's getting one here on She-Hulk 6, 1 in 50 sketch as well. That Weapon X-Men book, you're getting a Wolverine one, kind of cool. Sketch version as well. Yeah, this is just this week. Getting more throughout the month. Our last one, I think, for this week, X-Men number 32, getting a Rogue with a 1 in 50 sketch as well. I don't know. Like I said, I thought at least the cover price versions, color versions are interesting. So I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll think about picking some up. I don't know. I don't know if I can get the whole run because if this is already week one, I don't know if I can make it through the month buying like 30 of these. But who knows? We'll see. As I mentioned, it is March. It is now March, so it is now Women's History Month. So now we have some Women's History Month variants. Both Marvel and DC are doing their own things, so we're going to cover them separately. So starting off with Marvel, Marvel is doing, even amongst itself, separate Star Wars Women's History Month variants. So I think there's only a handful of these, but keep an eye out for them. Star Wars 44, you're getting your Mon Mothma variant there. Now, I don't know if these were announced this way, but I didn't see any announcement that the Stormbreakers covers for this month were all going to feature, women and female characters. But it seems to be a trend that I picked up on, so I'm going to include them here in Women's History Month. So the Stormbreaker covers on various titles are also going to have featured characters like Gamora here, and I think this was the Cat book had Squirrel Girl for some reason. Again, I don't think there's any other reason for her to be on that cover, but I think this is the Avengers one. Has Shuri or is Shuri, or is this one of the Midnight Angels? Not sure. Not sure for certain. She-Hulk on her She-Hulk book is also getting one, and Ms. Marvel is also getting one of these Stormbreakers cover too. But again, they all spotlight a female character, so I feel it is part of Women's History Month that the Stormbreakers are kind of covering female characters. With that, DC is also doing it with their own little stamp on things. So here's DC's Women's History Month books. Only 2 this week. I believe all of these are going to be done by Sozo Micah. So far, so good. They look pretty good to me. Birds of Prey, number 7, is getting this canary cover. Pretty awesome. I really like this one. Probably going to get this one. And Poison Ivy ain't half bad either here. So this is issue 20 of Poison Ivy. And that's all we're getting so far. But there will be more of these women's history variants to come. Like I said, Sozo Micah is doing I want to say a run of these. I think they might have actually added something extra, if I'm not mistaken, given the recent passing. But we'll get into that maybe next week. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's keep it rolling and kind of pivot, because if we look at some of these covers, especially these last two with these Sozo Micah covers, these could have easily fit into our Cheesecake cover section. But as I said, women's history, I put them separate. But we do have a few Cheesecake covers that we can talk about for this week. Starting off with more tattoo Nathan Zerdy variants. So I know some people are tired of these, but we keep getting more. So Birds of Prey is also giving us this tattoo variant here by, like I said, Zerdy. Villa Lobos is also giving us this Birds of Prey cover, which is kind of cool. You got the whole team there. Not bad. And Lyrics Lee has a 1 in 25 cover here as well. This is only slightly like at and above ratio, so it's worth keeping an eye on, but I don't know. I feel like if it was one of the other covers, this might be doing more, if that makes sense. But 25 to 40 early pre-sales, asking prices in that 25 to 30 and up to $40 kind of range. So we'll see where it ends up. Moving on, Poison Ivy, as I said, Poison Ivy 20, also getting a David Nakayama cover, which is also going to be the 1 in 50 Virgin version, as well as a couple others mixed in that aren't too bad either. The 1 in 25 isn't really a Cheesecake cover, but I just threw it in here because I don't know, it was interesting, and it didn't really fit anywhere else. So here it goes. With that, Jennifer Blood, Battle Diary number 4, Linzer. We also have, I believe, a Lee cover and a another one here for your viewing pleasure if you're interested in these. Just like the Crave covers, it's all right. Maria Lovett's number 4. Then we got some other variants here, including a tarot card, which is kind of cool. It's a little different. Kind of like the tarot card angle. And we got some Zenescope books for you all. As you know, can't have a week of Cheesecake without some Zenescope. So Wonderland, Child of Madness, number 3 has a multitude of covers that good luck finding some of these. A's We got some B's and C's. There's also, I think, a D cover here, as well as, I don't know the ratios on these, but these are also incentives. I think it's a Burns on the left there, the Virgin version. And then there are three like limited edition books that are like uh platinum, silver, and gold, or so, I don't know. But same cover basically redone three times. But it's still eye-catching. And that platinum version, which is all the way on the left, it does have the black spot to black things out because it is a naughty cover. And these three limited edition books are obviously going to be a little pricey. Early returns 36, 70, 125 on those. Asking prices in that same kind of 30 for the blue, 65 for the red, and then the naughty bit there with the platinum version actually doesn't have any available right now, but you can see one did sell for 125 bucks. That's it. I think these are just limited. I mean, that one's apparently limited to only 75 copies. I think the red was 150, and I think the blue covered one is I don't know the number, but probably 250 or so. But that's generally what Zenescope does a lot with these, is they do some of those very limited runs on the books where they only limit them to like 75 or 50 copies, and yeah, they're collectible. Collectors like to collect. And with that, let's move on to She-Hulk. So we get a She-Hulk with the bubble helmet, space cover. That's a whole nother niche that people like to collect. So Sensational She-Hulk 6 is giving us that, as well as I think this is a Ben Harvey with her coming off of the subway. And then to wrap up this little section, we have a red light cover. This is homaging some adult film. I tried to find out which one this was. This looks familiar, but I don't know what poster this is. So if you know what this is an homage of, please put it in the comments down below, because I'm curious. I know Kyle and I were talking about it on SNS on Saturday as well, but I just don't know what movie this is for. But red light coming out of AWA. They've been doing these homage covers for this red light series. And let's get on over to the regular covers, because surprisingly, the Jeff DeCall didn't really feel cheesecakey enough to conclude in that section, but I do like the cover, so I included it here, just in covers that I like. So Jeff DeCall, issue 3 of 4 for red light. There it is. Dark Souls also has a pretty cool cover. I'm a sucker for a character sitting in thrones. I don't know, just looks cool. And then there's this wraparound cover here as well for the Willow King. I think this is issue 2 that they're on now. But just some cool covers here for Dark Souls. I never got around to playing this game. I heard it was insanely difficult, which scared me off because I don't have the gaming skills I once had. I'm old now, so my reaction time's not there. So I'm more of a Assassin's Creed exploring kind of thing, grind it out, than I am if I have to do something where there's timing involved. It's just, I don't have it. Just don't have it. So I can't play fighting games anymore, etc. But with that all said, me whining about video gaming, more covers that I like. This one's just kind of fun. So Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries #3. I think it's just kind of fun, them doing a callback to the old TV show with them climbing up the wall with the windows, and the famous celebrities would stick their heads out. Hey, Batman. Hey, Robin. But it's Batman and Catwoman in this case, and Scooby and Shaggy are the ones popping their heads out. Just kind of fun. So figured I'd throw it in here. This one, I didn't feel like it was cheesecakey enough because she looks a little tough. But Ursa here on Kneel Before Zod #3 still is a pretty cool Perlo cover. So I still wanted to spotlight the cover. I just didn't know if it felt like it really fit the other section. So I dropped it here, along with the Rebels cover here for Hera and the Ghost on for Star Wars 44. X-Men 32 also has this pretty awesome magic cover. Almost put it in the cheesecake section, but just jumping into action, getting ready to fight. So I just threw her here in the cover section that I like because, yeah, it also fits here too. It's just covers I like. So this is probably the one I'm going to grab for this particular book. I don't know. Maybe I'll get the headshot too. We'll see. And then lastly, I think for this section, we are going to look at Thanos, because there's a couple of cool Thanos covers for this week. So issue 4 looks like Skeletor. Like, I thought this was a Skeletor cover at first, but regardless, I still like it. So you got the Death Shroud, Death Becomes Him, Lionel Francis, you doing this pretty awesome Thanos. I think this is the cover A. I dig it. I also mentioned it. I like him on a throne. So the throne cover also looks pretty good. And then kind of a unique and a different vibe, this snap cover. I don't know, it just kind of stands out, something different. Like I like all three of these. So I don't know which one I'm going to end up grabbing. Probably just the A, but yeah, I like all three of these. But they didn't just give us these three. And that leads us into our next section.
WTF, Gary? WTF. What the fuck does WTF mean? What the fuck? Oh.
Now, I brought this up on SNS when they were doing their worst covers. I'm like, how did you guys miss this one? Because this one, I remember the card, but really, did we need the taint shot of Thanos here immortalized? Not just on a card, but now on a comic. Like, do we need a huge Grundle shot for Thanos? I didn't, but we are getting it. So the Hildebrandt Marvel Masterpiece cover, you can get your groin shot of Thanos all you want for a cover price, or if you really want to spend, you can get the Virgin version with no distractions. You can just see right up that 1 in 50. Just gonna say, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. Because otherwise, I'll get myself demonetized or something. So with that, yeah, Thanos. And with that, we only have a couple more incentives to go over before we can call it a day for this week. So the incentives that are kind of stuck out and don't fit into the other categories, didn't tie in with any of the other books. We have here are Venom 31. This scan cover, pretty cool. I mean, it is another Venom. It just looks like another Venom cover, but it's still catchy and it still caught my eye. And people still like these covers, as you can see. Some early pre-sales, ratio sure, up to $45. Asking prices, ratio sure, up to $50. I feel like this will still hold around ratio considering that level of movement already and available copies, but you never know. So we're going to keep an eye on it regardless. Star Wars also has a High Republic book coming out this week. So this is going to be our last book that we're going to talk about. Starting off with this Ben Harvey 1 in 25. And Ben Harvey's been getting a lot of work lately. So the 1 in 25 here, pretty cool cover. It's kind of performing like a lot of these Star Wars 1 in 25s have, where we're looking at it right around that $35 to $45 kind of range. And then the asking prices are in that $30 to $40 kind of range. It's just seems like par for the course. I'm only getting like almost write it, just pencil it in like as you're getting these in now. But we'll see how it goes as the week goes on. If this holds, goes up, down, left, right, whatever. But the 1 in 25 is not the highest ratio. There is the last cover of these 1 in 100s. Whew, it's not a great looking one. We'll admit, I think the Star Wars boys have covered this one too. It's not a great looking cover. This Killer Croc cover is just not the best. But Star Wars 1 in 100 Virgin covers, they do what they do. Early sales right around ratio, the best offer on 125, and then one sold for 140. The only one I could find listed right now, though, was asking $275. So I don't know. At this point, I feel like this one could be a little bit harder than the rest. And the reason why I bring it up like the rest is because this is a connecting cover. If you remember, the 1 in 100s all connected. There are trade dress versions that also connect, but they're 1 in 100s for this High Republic Volume 3 or Phase 3 series. The first 4 issues, at least, all do go together to form one larger image. So just to remind you of them, there's 1, 2, 3, and now 4 finishing off this larger piece of art. So if you're really dedicated, yeah, this is the last bit for you. Issue 5 does not continue this trend. So you just got these first 4. And with that, we've made it through. That is my rundown for this week. Once again, let me know what you think of the new layout and the new intro for it. Just taking a different angle. Because again, it just looked too much like Hidden Gems. That like light blue just seemed a bit redundant once I was doing this. So just trying something different. So tell me which one you guys prefer in the comments down below. Hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully I told you about some books that may have interested you. Maybe I talked you out of some books that you were thinking about buying. I don't know. Hopefully whatever I said you found helpful. And with that all said, make sure you come back. We got more content coming for you every day. I'll do another Chasing Ghosts for you on Tuesday. We have a tax show coming up on Wednesday live, and then we'll have the Hot 10 on Friday, as well as the Qualified live right after it. Saturday night special on Saturday, Tales from the Dark Side on Sunday, and then we'll do it all over again. Eventually, I will get back to doing something on Thursdays, whether it be Dollar Bin Digging or another series. I'm just trying to catch my breath still and get myself situated as we roll into 2024 here. So, yeah, no rush. Plenty of content, plenty of things coming your way. Hopefully, you're on board for them. And like I said, make sure you're liking, subscribing, commenting, and telling your friends so we can keep growing this channel as we move on to bigger and better things. And with that said, I'll see you all later with some more content. All right.